Hey crafty friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over a few things if you are a handmade business and specifically with macrame products. Today I'm going to go over a few things that you are going to need if you want to start this endeavor and some tips and tricks along the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so tip number one, or thing number one that you're obviously going to need if you want to be a macrame artist, a fiber artist, whatever you want to call yourself, right, is obviously macrame cord or macrame string. Now I'll show you a couple different ones that I have right here and kind of tell you what my favorite ones are, why they're my favorite, and different things like that. So for example, here I have a purple macrame cord, and I'll show you, hopefully it'll show it pretty well there. So as you can see, you can kind of see those lines. It's macrame rope, and you can tell because there's like different ply on it. This one has, I believe, let's see here. Yeah, so this is 3-ply macrame rope. And you can tell the difference between macrame rope and macrame string because macrame string doesn't have the ply, right? There aren't the twists, so it kind of all just looks like this. I'll show you here. So hopefully you can see this, but I'll take this macrame rope apart and it essentially becomes macrame string, but I'll show you the difference here. So the difference is that macrame string, I hope it's zoomed in here, I'll kind of peel it out. But macrame string doesn't have the twist, right? It doesn't have that like 3-ply rope like the rope does. So there's that. So string is more like this, the rope is more like this side. So there are two places that I like to get my macrame cord and string and rope from. Number one is called Nook Theory. That one to me is a little bit more, I guess I like their colors. They're nice and bright. They do have the neutrals. They're on Amazon. I will link a lot of this stuff in the description too if you're interested. But with Nook Theory, they are, I would say, a little bit more budget friendly. Whereas the other one that I like to get my macrame string and cord from is called, it's either Naroma or Nyroma Studio. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but that one is, I love their stuff. They have a lot of good like recycled macrame cord and macrame string, which I use quite a bit, and it's really soft, which is nice because if you've ever done macrame before, you know your hands can, start getting pretty dry after doing a lot of the knotting. So those are the two places, and Naroma Studio is its own separate company. Nook Theory obviously is too, but that one is on Amazon. So like I said, I will definitely link those in the description below and definitely check both of them out. So the next thing that I would recommend is getting some kind of a bar or dowel system where you can actually hang your macrame pieces while you're working on them. It can be really difficult. When I first started doing macrame, I didn't have any kind of bar or anything to hang the pieces from when I was working, and it was really difficult to get the right kind of tension and uniformity with the knots without having a bar. As you can see, this one right here, this is just something that I grabbed. I think I got it, I don't know, either Amazon or Walmart, but either way I'll link a couple in my Amazon storefront for you if you're interested. But those are, they can be really cheap, they can be expensive, whatever you want to do with the bar, but long story short, just something stable for you to hang on to your pieces you're working on. Third thing might be a little odd, but because you are doing macrame and making all of these knots and running the string and thread through your fingers, sometimes your fingers get really chapped and they can start to crack a little bit, and that's not fun, it's not good. So recommendation number 3 is grab yourself some lotion. This is just some, Bath and Body Works, like stress relief, eucalyptus, whatever your favorite lotion is, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Also use something called Aquaphor as well if it gets really bad, especially if you're in an area that is super dry like I am during the winter months too. Like your hands are they go through a lot, especially when you're doing macrame. So having lotion is definitely a godsend, and if you know, you know. The next thing that you will need if you want to do more macrame is an amazing scissors. Now, for me, When I started macrame, I had just kind of like a crappy scissor that I had laying around, and every time I would try to cut it, it wouldn't cut through all the way, and things would get kind of jagged and uneven a little bit too on the bottom. So to avoid that happening to you, I definitely recommend getting a really good high quality scissors. Might sound a little over the top, but it's not once you actually feel what a good scissors actually like feels like. So fabric scissors and things like that, definitely do that. But as you can see, this is the one that I use. But yeah, I mean, I can cut through a ton with this scissors, and it's really sturdy. I'll link that in the description as well. The fifth thing that I recommend every single macrame artist has is some kind of scrap box. Now for me, when I first started, the first few pieces that I was doing, I was like cutting off the excess, and which there's probably quite a bit because I wasn't quite sure how much to use when I first started. And I would throw them away, and I started feeling really bad about it because I'm like, okay, I can't really make huge pieces with these scraps, but let's see what this does. So again, having some kind of scrap box for your scraps is going to be really useful for you, and you can use those things for different projects that you do. For me, a lot of times I will use these scraps to make little tassels or keychains and things like that. As you can see, this scrap box is pretty darn full, so definitely time to start making some more of those tassels and keychains. The sixth thing that I would recommend that you have, and you don't have to do this, but this is something if you want to like embellish your macrame pieces a little bit more, whether it's for keychains or big macrame wall hangings, kind of think about the different things that you want to add to your macrame pieces. So for me, I like adding beads to some of my keychains, and then another thing that I like to add is some wool or different things like wool roving to some of the pieces as well. Alright, the seventh thing that I would recommend every macrame artist needs is some kind of inspo, right? A lot of times we'll see something and maybe we want to make something exactly the same, so we follow a tutorial. But as you progress in your macrame skills, you're going to want to figure out how to create your own products and all of that. So having inspo is going to be really helpful. For me, I personally and mainly use Pinterest and Instagram for that. So follow your favorite artists, kind of get some ideas on the colors and overall vibe that you want it. Try not to copy these people and come up with your own thing, but it's good to get some info from others. The eighth thing that I would recommend that you get is some kind of sketchbook or just kind of like idea sketchbook, whatever. You know, it could be a notebook, could be a sketchbook, whatever you want it to be. But for me, that's kind of helped me a little bit to kind of figure out the overall vibe that I want to make for my next pieces. Sometimes I'll make a wall hanging and just kind of sketch out, okay, this is about how long I want it to be, these are the colors I want to have on it, maybe a little bit of the design as well. And that's just kind of helped me come up with more patterns and different ideas for the wall hangings versus just copying other people, which isn't inherently bad when it comes to learning. But when you want to sell your own pieces and things like that, it's really important to have your own style and to be able to, you know, come up with your own ideas. Alright, and the ninth thing that I recommend everybody is able to do is to price their products. I don't know about you, but when I first started creating and handcrafting a lot of my items, I did not know how to price anything. You know, I'd either want to price it to what it's worth, but nobody would buy it, or I would vastly undercharge myself, and you never want to do that either. So definitely start learning how to price your products, and if you need help with that, I do have a pricing sheet that you can utilize, and I'll link that in the description as well. But it's a free resource, free guide, definitely recommend you check that out. But it'll really help you figure out how to price your products and be confident in those products too, because the last thing we want is to pretty much just feel like we gave away these products, right? We want to get paid for the work that we do, especially because it's handmade. So that's really important too, is understanding how to price your products. But a good rule of thumb, if you don't want to check out that link, is to price your products at 3 times the cost of materials. So if it, you know, costs you $10 to make, you charge $30. Now, yes, there's a lot of variations, lots of different things and ways that you can price your products, but this is like the most simple. If you're really confused and you need to get your stuff out there, definitely just test out the whole cost of your products times 3. Alright, I know this was a quick little video today, but just kind of wanted to go over a few things that I think, would be very, very useful for every macrame artist to utilize, to understand, and to get the hang of. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share it, whatever you'd like to do with it. It definitely helps this channel. Trying to grow it a little bit more and obviously grow my business, but also to get my videos out there to help support more creatives just like you who are trying to figure things out, because it can be difficult. So again, thank you so much for being here and supporting this channel, and we'll see you in the next one.